On today's Infinite Galaxy video, we're about to spin 180 Poseidon spins in one of the best wheels I've ever had. And you might tell yourself, wait a second, you only spun 80 times. How do you know that you already get what you already got? Well, this footage is from the last wheel, and man, that wheel is really good to us. So sit back, slap a like on the video, and let's go. Hey there, YouTube. Galactic Gecko back from space with another Infinite Galaxy video. And today we're spinning the Syracuse Lucky Wheel. This was actually a couple of weeks ago. This was the previous wheel, but it was so good. I wasn't home. I recorded it on the phone just in case it actually comes out well. And oh my goodness, we majorly scored. First and foremost, this video is sponsored by Infinite Galaxy, but one of the things that I wanted to address early on as we land our first 10 within the first 6 spins, just so you understand how crazy this wheel was. This wheel has been growing on me. I mean, look at this. We hit the 10 twice within the first 6. Look at this. That's 30 blueprints that we got just from that alone. I was ecstatic. I was like, thank God I'm recording. And so this wheel, as I mentioned previously, has become a lot more pay to win in the sense that you have to spend money in order to spin the wheel. And as a matter of fact, technically, you can spin it 240 times in the span of 3 days, and you can buy up to 240 spins in the span of 3 days. However, the real value lies in the center of the wheel, and as the camera loses a little bit of focus, is those extra rewards for spins. Essentially, what you really want to do is you want to get to any of the levels of the extra rewards for spinning the wheel, and I wouldn't go beyond that. I'm not going beyond that. I know a few people who are mega whales that are spinning 240 times every time. I'm staying at 160. And so we found a little tip, right? Because you don't necessarily have to buy the full shop, quote unquote, and there's ways to get a little bit of cheaper prices. When you first get the wheel, you're going to get a $10 bundle that'll give you 15 spins, which will save you $5, as each spin is usually about $1. So that saves you a little bit there. And secondly, when you buy out the shop, you're going to actually buy over the 80 by a little bit. And so you want to make sure that you're offsetting your second day's worth of purchases with those extras that you have so that you don't necessarily have to overspend over the 160. Of course, you can then spin 80 times 2 and then another day just the rest of your spins, but I remain within my boundary of 160 spins per wheel, which I feel like is where the value lies. Now, the reason the wheel is so important, especially for pay to win players, is not only the blueprints, believe it or not. The amount of resources you get out of this is truly spectacular. The amount of speed ups you get is fairly decent. Speed ups are actually much harder to get in game than a lot of other things. Even plasma, which is grindable theoretically with enough farms, you can gather enough plasma to sustain yourself or for whatever. But speed ups are really harder to come by. So while I usually don't count speed ups, you do get a very, very healthy amount of speed ups out of spinning the wheel. And we might start in a couple of wheels, start counting the speed ups as well, just so we have a reference of how much we've been gaining. But when it comes to resources in particular, the wheel is just such a fantastic way for you to get that extra amount of plasma, nickel, which is the creeper, deuterium, and titanium, which are a little bit less needed. I can tell you that out of this whole spin in terms of resources, out of all 160 spins you're about to see, we hit the titanium 16 times, which is 1 million per, or 16 million titanium. We hit deuterium 12 times for 12 million deuterium. We hit nickel for 13 times for 200k per, if I'm not mistaken, per spin. So that's 2.6 million nickel for the wheel. And we also hit plasma 11 times, which was actually very, very, very good at 1.1 million plasma. Your biggest enemy later on is going to be nickel more than plasma, just because everybody focuses on plasma so much because it is that scarce that they don't realize that nickel really quickly creeps in on you. And next thing you know, you just don't have enough nickel. You have the plasma, but no nickel. And then it's just a pain in the butt. So hitting it 13 times is actually very, very good. This wheel was also fairly generous to us when it comes to the extra stuff that comes out of the wheel. We picked up a ginormous 7 gold chests for gear, which is actually very, very good. There's another hit right there. And as a matter of fact, we have a video coming up where we're going to open all of our gear chests that we have, and we have a ton of them. And we're about to just shoot to the moon all of our flagship gear. So if you want to see that, make sure you're subscribed down below and smash a like on the video. On top of that, when it comes to crew data cards, or better yet, XP cards, the 240s, we hit that 4 times, which is not bad. That is actually a very, very good piece of item to get. I guess that's the word I was looking for, because you can also use it for Galaxy Star. In Galaxy Star, you'll have a part, and there's a hit. You'll have a part where upgrading your crew's level as well as upgrading your crew in general will get you points. And I'm right now in the point where I'm like, the easiest way to get Galaxy Stars is just hoard all these items, hoard all the blueprints, hoard all the XP, hoard, and then train flagships, upgrade your blueprints, and as of course Rise of Kingdoms has to creep in on the video, upgrade your everything on Galaxy Star unless you need it for something else, Galaxy Summit or Nebula versus Nebula, which is server versus server, which is coming up. They announced it already, which is kind of sick. And so our Poseidon, which will tell you how many blueprints we got at the very end of the video, is looking very good. We're holding on to a solid amount of blueprint, which will be converted into Galaxy Star points, which I'm very happy about. We also hit the flagship XP, the 2000 flagship XP, about 8 times in this wheel. There is another hit right there, which is kind of good. I mean, those used to be on the wheels on the Galaxy Star as well, but people, Infinite Galaxy realized that what people were doing were they were resetting their flagships, which would give them all the XP back, and then they re-XP'd the same flagship over and over and over for Galaxy points. So in that first Galaxy Star, when that came out, those numbers were hyperinflated. Anyone who had reset tokens for their flagships just got massive amounts of points. There's another 10 to start us off, baby, on the day's spins. And I can tell you that in terms of hitting the 10 on this wheel, we actually hit it 4 times. Now, it might seem crazy to you, it's like 160 and you hit only 4 times. That's wild. That's like 2.5% hit, which is not terrible overall. It is all right. It is all right. What did offset it, though, is how many times we hit that 5. And listen, we hit that 5 tile. I really couldn't believe how many times we keep hitting that 5. And it feels like that's the ratio. It feels like that's the ratio because we hit that thing 41 times, 20%, 25%, better said. That's why I started with 20. Of our spins, we hit the 5 tile for 5 blueprints for a ginormous 205 blueprint fragments just from the 5 tile. I mean, heck, we hit it 3 times here. It's just ridiculous. And so the wheel is extremely good to get your flagships up. Now, granted, once you start hitting those higher levels 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and so forth, and so on, you're barely going to get like 2/3, if not half of a level per wheel. But if you are on the lower levels, you're definitely going to get that level 9 flagship done within a couple of wheels, really. If not more, definitely not more than 3 wheels, and your flagship is at level 9, especially if you're spinning up to 160 times and getting all the extra rewards, which actually land you like a truly ridiculous amount of extra rewards. You actually get, I believe, 310 extra flagship blueprints just for hitting all the extra rewards, which are the middle thing in the wheel, which currently we hit the 100 spin, and I believe there's another one at 140, and there's another one at 160 at the end of all of this, or maybe there's another one also in the middle in between all that. But every time you get those spins in and you hit that milestone, you're going to get extra blueprints. So far, we've talked about the fact that we hit 4 times the 10 and we hit 41 times the 5, which puts us at 245 fragments on the wheel. Add to that the ginormous 310 you get out of the extra rewards. And I mean, we are already looking at what? 555 blueprints just from hitting the 10, the 5, and the extra rewards. Add to that the little 3, which does show up occasionally, much less than the 5, that's for hella sure. But nonetheless, we hit the 3 quite a few times. We hit the 3 for a total of 21 times for 63 blueprint fragments. And so at the end of all of this, when you guys enjoy the rest of these spins, as we're almost done, we're about, I believe, 30 away from our goal. We have reached a total of 618 blueprint fragments, which I've been hitting more consistently than ever. So I'm starting to think that 600 is a reasonable number. And I'm starting to think that perhaps what we're gunning for is the 700 and above for like extreme luck. But the wheel has changed since the first wheel. And so we're still not 100% sure what the numbers are for a crazy wheel or not. Leave me a comment down below and let me know what's the biggest number of blueprint fragments you've gotten out of your wheel if you spun to 160. If you spin to 240, then you probably are getting a lot more, because if the numbers are correct, you're going to be hitting the 5 at least another 20 times, which is 25%-ish, give or take. So that would put you at a whopping 700 plus blueprints, right? If you hit that another 20 times flat plus what I got, you're looking at about 718 blueprints, which starts to look really, 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 really good. And so at the end of all this, just to recap the wheel as we're reaching the end, we got a total of 618 blueprint fragments, hitting the 10 4 times, hitting the 5 41 times, and hitting the 3 21 times. We got 16 million titanium, 12 million deuterium, 2.6 million nickel, and 1.1 million plasma. We also hit that 2K XP for flagships 8 times for a total of 16,000 XP, flag XP. We hit the 480 crew XP, or 2 tokens of 24 or of 240 4 times. And we hit the gold chest for gear 7 times. And honestly, I am very, very happy with what we got. It helps on the resource department. It helps on all departments. And more importantly than not, it helps us guarantee, or well, not guarantee, but be very competitive for Galaxy Star placements, because we got to get our Titan up and running. We've already won 2 Galaxy Stars, and we're more than likely going to gun for 1 more Galaxy Star in the next cycle. I've been doing one off, one on, one off at these points, just to kind of not hug them all, and at the same time not really have to worry about challenges too much, because it somehow worked out that on the weeks that I'm not doing it, a couple of other bigger players are doing it, which is fantastic. And so with that being said, let's open our extra rewards for the final part of this video. And yeah, we have a stupendous amount of these on hand. Our Poseidon is about to look very, very good. I'm Gecko. I'm out of here. I appreciate everyone who dropped a like on this video and hit that subscribe down below. As you can see, we could save ourselves from buying the $10 and $15 bundle. So that worked out really well. Saved us a good 25 bucks at the end. If you didn't calculate it correctly, if you went 5, 10, 20, and so forth and so on, you'd have had to buy all bundles. So keep that in mind. Do the math correctly so you don't end up buying more than you really need. I'll see you sooner rather than later. We have another wheel video coming out in the next couple of days. The current wheel, which so far we spun only half of, but I have a feeling it's going to be a good one too. Take care. Have a good one. Peace.